So today is 14th of December 2023. It's lunchtime already. So far today I've just been prospecting. I'm just trying to prepare some lists ready for outreach again. Just so that I've got some, so I want to test some leads that I've scraped myself and some bought leads just to see the difference in quality. And also with these leads I'm scraping, I'm doing what I did before with the estate agents. What was really working, which was adding a little personalised note based off their website or whatever, so they know I've actually looked into them a little bit. I was getting really good reply rates, so I thought test that and then I'll buy leads and see if I'm getting similar results. I'll just go with the bought ones because it saves me so much time. But yes, that's what I've done today. It's a bit scary really how quickly the time goes. It actually frightens me to death. Like it's 12 o'clock and I'm like, where's the fucking time? Every day just absolutely fucking flies by, and it is scary, and I think it makes me move faster, move with a bit of urgency, because it's just ridiculous how quickly the time flies by and goes past you. And what else scares me is like the fact that the time goes by and how long it's taken me to get to here. I don't know. Look, again, I've done this one for two reasons. So first of all, last week, as I said, I'm reading a book a week. Last week I read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And obviously it's about his life. Well, it's him writing it, and it's sort of like his learnings from life almost, his philosophy of life. And I'd say the main thing I took from it was he was talking a lot about the universe, which I thought was interesting. And they talk about the concept of like it pretty much saying like it is what it is, like let it be, put it in the trust of God, put it in trust of the universe. And I do agree with that, sort of saying like just have faith in the universe and that it's going to take you down the right path and you're going to fulfill your purpose. He was talking a lot about purpose and what you're meant to do, and about how the universe will take you on the purpose you're meant to go. He said everyone serves a purpose. And obviously it's a lot about stoicism, their beliefs, obviously doing things without emotion, and they just talk about having a purpose and just working on it, pushing away any pleasures. So it's a good sort of mindset to have and ideology to understand. But yeah, so he was talking a lot about, which I found interesting, which is like talking about, he called it the whole, which like the universe, and talking about how just sort of let things be how they are, accept what comes to you, and just have faith that you're going to be put on the right path. And so yeah, I thought it was interesting reading it, because I've always believed that. I've said it from the start in these videos, like too many things have happened, too many things have lined up for me to be here in this position right now, doing this video, doing this work. Like it just doesn't make sense for me to not be doing it. And it was just sort of like, yeah, it's interesting. It's sort of linked into my theory of just be relaxed about it, let it be, work hard towards it, and the universe, God, whoever will guide you to where you need to go. So I thought it was a good book to read. To sort of, the main things I got from it was just like, just relax, just take a breather. If you work hard and you work on your goal and you do the right things and you don't let your mind take control of you, and you don't give in to pleasures, and you stay focused, the universe will take you where you need to go. So it was for me anyway, I interpreted it as like, it was a nice book to read to sort of ease your mind, be at ease with the world, just let things happen. If they're meant to be, they're meant to be, essentially, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, the second thing, so one of my friends, he left school, he didn't go to college, he went into an apprenticeship, and he went into a brokerage firm selling energy, and he did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then this year he joined, so two boys that left that firm started up their own brokerage business, selling energy as well, and they invited him over to take a third of the company with him. So he's got 33% ownership of the company, and they've got their own brokerage firm. So obviously for them to get business, they're on the phones all day, every day. That's their method of outreach. He says they do a bit of email outreach, but mainly phone calls. So we've been quite good mates since school. So every now and then, like, I drop him a little text and ask him some questions about cold calling and things like that. Anyway, we were talking yesterday. He was telling, so they've hired someone now as well, and then he was telling me that the boy that they hired did 286 calls yesterday. So he had 4 hours of talking to people. Obviously that's just actually having conversations. Obviously you would have had ring throughs, voicemails, all that stuff anyway, but 4 hours essentially of actual conversations, 286 calls, and for them he closed them about 3 grand's worth of business in 4 hours. And then as well as that their employees call in, and they're calling, he did about, I can't remember how many he said just under 100 calls, and he closed the deal for a few £100. And then his other 2 business partners were doing it as well, and they closed a deal or 2. And obviously I stay in contact with him throughout the week, and he's always telling me what deals they've closed, how much they've closed, and every week they're closing deals constantly. Like their monthly revenue is good. Like I think they're in tens of thousands. I'm not sure about if they're in hundreds of thousands. They're in tens of thousands, which is crazy. But really, what's interesting to me is just the volume of outreach they're doing, and it just sort of made me think, like, I'm really not doing enough. Like, I'm being a bitch about it. I think it's very impressive that they do that many calls on a daily basis, and I respect that a lot. But I guess that's their only form of outreach. But I think I just need to be more relentless with it. Like, so obviously I was cold calling the carpenters, and it just didn't go well. I got 1 yes, but it wasn't convincing. And to be completely honest with you, I sort of didn't want to do the Zoom call because I just didn't feel like it was. I shouldn't have done that, but anyway. So I did hundreds and hundreds of calls, and got no sort of returns on it, essentially. So yeah, it was frustrating, and I think I let it get to me, and I let it block my work and what I was doing. So I stopped calling, I stopped outreaching, and this is my problem. I'm getting frustrated with stuff, but I'm not outreaching to anyone, so nothing's going to change. I'm not going to be in contact with anyone, if that makes sense. It's it's so annoying, but it's down to me. It's no one else. I've just got to outreach more. I just need to be more on it. That's all I need to do. But it was interesting to talk to him, to see how much they do and how much money they bring in. Like 3 grand in a day is very good. Obviously their service is completely different, and they've got proven results, and they've got a proven market, and they know their offer, blah, blah, blah. They know exactly what they're doing, and I'm still finding it. But it's not about that, it's about the volume that they're doing. Like, that's what I need to sort of match. And again, start of this year, I knew 10 times less than what I know now, and I was outreaching like a fucking lunatic, and I was getting a lot of calls, and I was getting a lot of clients. So I just need to do that again. So like I said, yeah, I'm gonna get the email software again and start contacting. The other thing as well, actually, is Marcus Aurelius said it in that book as well, and I keep seeing it online. It's like people aren't living in the present. They're too worried about the past, or they're too worried about the future. And thinking in the past holds you back, and thinking in the future makes you nervous because you don't know how you're going to get to where you want to get to. Both, Marcus Aurelius was talking about it in his book, and I keep seeing people like Luke Belmar talking about it as well, and it's very true. And I was sort of reflecting on it and analysing it myself. So for me, I look forward many steps ahead all the time. So for example, now I'm thinking of the coaches, right? I'm thinking about how I'm going to do the outreach, what methods I'm going to use. After that, how do I need to improve my service? How am I going to scale it in the future? Like, I'm almost like thinking about 5 to 10 steps ahead of what's actually happening, to think where I can take it. And in a way, that's good, because it's helping me to sort of look forward and see how I can evolve what I'm doing and improve it. But at the same time, it creates nervousness within me. It creates nerves, and it makes me distracted because I'm thinking of somewhere to get somewhere where I've not even done the bits before that to get to that, if that makes sense. So yeah, I need to stay focused on now, what I'm doing now, what I need to do now, and then it's good to think ahead and think forwards, but I just need to zone it in and think about what I'm doing at this present moment, what I need to do to get to that next step. And that's what I think I'd say to anyone watching this. If you're feeling nervous about the future, just, as hard as it is, just focus on what you're doing now. Great, have that vision, have that idea, have those next 5 moves, have those next 10 moves, but focus on what you're doing now, because what you're doing now will allow you to get to those next 10 steps. So it almost removes the nervousness from it. Like for me, when I start feeling anxious, I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this? Like for me, I've got this really good idea about the coaching, how I can scale it to. I'm thinking that at the end result now, I don't even know if the ads are going to work for coaches, but I'm imagining it's all going to work, and I'm thinking of a product at the end that's going to be the cash cow, and it's going to do amazing. But I've not even done the work before that. So it probably happens. It happens every single day. I sit there and I'm like, oh fuck, like what am I? How am I going to do that? How is that going to work? But then when I start getting that nervous feeling, and I'm like, oh, it starts feeling a bit overwhelming. And what I do, I just bring it all back. I bring it back down to now where I'm at, and I just focus on what I'm doing, which is the next step that I need right now to get me to that future state. So if you get that nervousness when you're thinking about the future, just focus on what you're doing now, and focus on what you need to do now to help you get to there. Because again, it is true, there's no point living in the past or living in the future. You've got to enjoy the moment now. You've got to live for now. So yeah, I've just waffled for about 12 minutes there. I don't know if that's made any sense. But again, like I said, these videos, I'm just spilling out what's on my mind. Because for me anyway, I feel like I can just say exactly what's happening, and I don't need comments back. This is just what's in my head. I just need to spew it out. So there you go. I've just offloaded. So yeah, I hope that's helped a little bit, somewhat. So from all that waffle, I'd say focus on the present. Don't get caught up in the future or the past. Focus on what you have to do in this moment to get to where you want to go. If things are meant to be, they're meant to be. Have trust in the universe, have trust in God, have trust in the world that it will take you to the next step. As long as you're working hard and you're working with direction, you're working with purpose, trust that everything else will fall into place. And if you're doing outreach, just do more. And I need to take that lesson as well, but there we go. So that's the update for today. I'll see you soon.